Here we go.
Welcome to the Pixie Kitchen Podcast, where we talk about anything on our minds over breakfast, lunch, dinner. Honestly, anytime we feel like eating. I'm your host, Mac. With me are my co-hosts, Jared
Ayo.
and Haley.
Hello.
I guess we'll start with Haley, because you haven't been on for a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. I remember you wanted to do like another episode together like a while ago, but you know, work life gets in the way.
Absolutely.
Such things should be slowing down soon. My school is about to wrap up for summer in a little over a week. Today was the last Monday, since next Monday's Memorial Day, so the kids have 8 more days of school left until they're on summer.
Nice.
So it's exciting, but the kids are getting antsy, we're getting antsy, so everyone's just at each other's throats at the moment. Except for my kids. My kids are angels. It's just whenever I have to go into a classroom to observe, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Get ready for summer.
Tired of being in that stuffy ass school.
They want out. They want out. They want out now.
they're like, let us out, let us out. I mean, I feel like if schools could, they would just let the kids play all day so they don't have to worry about doing shit.
I mean, an
Yeah.
education won't get you anywhere these days. So might as well.
It'll get you in debt.
It will get because you don't learn about like proper use of credit cards or how to take care of debt or taxes, any of that stuff.
Nope.
Real and true.
But that should be wrapping up soon, and I'll just be working at Boudin for a bit, and I might do some pet sitting gigs for family friends if they need to, for like if they were to go on vacation or something like that, because I always like to do that for some extra money.
Nice.
But something that's happened recently was that I just had a birthday party this past weekend, and it was a pajama themed party, so everyone got to come in cozy attire. It was really fun.
Nice.
But it wasn't a
And
sleepover.
share. It wasn't an actual sleepover. My mom made me say say that in the invitation. Make sure that's an actual slumber party. So if it was, we'd be housing around like 30 people.
Everyone just find something to put over you.
Yep. Find a spot and find something to cover up with.
Yeah.
Placing people in between cushions in the walls. Placing a table over them.
Yep. Cutting up the carpet to crawl underneath it.
How have you been, Mac? How's things going for you?
It's been fine. Haven't really been able to stream much. Lost power last Friday and got it back
I know, Jared told me about
yesterday.
that. Yay! Hooray!
It fucking sucked. But the storm was crazy to fucking watch. When it came in, we heard thunder right at the beginning.
Oh
Then
wow!
it was
That's
silent.
just right off the bat.
It was silent, and you'd seen wind. Obviously, you could see the fucking trees being thrown. And just lightning. It looked like a
Yikes!
strobe light was outside.
Whoa! When you put it like that, it's like whoa.
Yeah. It was pitch black, except for when lightning hit.
They said there was like no thunder, right?
Yeah. We heard two 2 things of thunder right at the beginning, and then after that it was dead silent. Except for trees breaking.
Sounds like the beginning of a horror movie.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, no trees around me, like in close vicinity, had any issues.
No trees were harmed in the making of this storm.
Oh, there were many trees harmed. Nothing, like, close enough to fuck up my house.
Oh, gotcha.
No, the entrance to the park was fully blocked off by, like, 3 different trees.
Wow.
If you wanted to leave or get back in, you had to drive through someone's yard.
I believe that. That's crazy, though.
Yeah.
All we worry
have-
about is branches falling off from the trees, but not actual trees. Well, sometimes, but probably not to this extent.
Mm-hmm. No one has any idea if it was an actual tornado or not. But with how much damage there was, everyone's like, there's no fucking way there wasn't a tornado. Like, there's zero
Did
shot.
you get any warnings or anything?
It was a tornado warning, but nothing about a tornado touched down. So we had no significant, like, sign of a tornado was here.
Mm-hmm.
It was eerie as fuck, though.
All you were missing was the what's it called? Tornado sirens to make it even more eerie.
Yeah. Just hear that off in the fucking distance. Because I'm just far enough out of town where I'd hear it, but it's quiet.
No thunder, just the eerie warning of impending doom.
Yep.
Dum dum.
Almost didn't lose power. It took almost to the end of the fucking storm for power to actually be cut off.
Nosferatu.
And then it took so fucking long to get it back. I still need to clean out my fridge.
Oh god.
Luckily,
I feel like
my
that's
fridge
something that I always
didn't get...
said.
Yeah, it didn't get too hot, though. Like, my fridge was still relatively cold, so nothing got gross.
Only thing I would do in that scenario is, even if it wasn't that bad, I would still throw anything dairy away because I ain't risking that.
I'm gonna be pretty much emptying the fridge. If it's not something that says doesn't need to be refrigerated, but for some fucking reason my family puts it in the fridge, I'm gonna pitch it. Or, you know, if
Random
I have
question.
like
This
fucking... Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, random question. This has nothing to do with the stories I'm about to read, but like, does anyone put their bread in the fridge? Because I've seen it both ways. I've seen, yes, put bread in the fridge. No, don't put bread in the fridge. Because it's like,
in the winter,
with what you said.
Yeah. In the winter, I don't. But because I live in a fucking tin can, it gets so fucking hot. It lasts longer in the fridge.
I freeze my bread, but that's just
Same.
because we get like bread in bulk, and then once we're out, we're like, okay, defrost.
Yep.
It doesn't affect the bread or anything. Like, it's already soft as is, and I use it for toast, so
I do the exact same
I
shit.
don't ever like refrigerate it. But I freeze. Gary, what do you do?
My family does. Me personally, I don't. But my family does refrigerate. Like, if we have 2 loaves, we'll put one in the fridge and one in the bread thingy. Did y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like when you get 2 loaves, it's like they go in different places depending on like which one you want to use.
Yeah. Me personally, I just put it out in the bread basket thingy.
Yeah.
It also comes down to if I'm eating bread a lot at that point in time. If I'm not making sandwiches or, you know, eating toast with eggs, I'm usually not eating bread a lot. So I'll throw it in the
Make a
fridge so it lasts
sandwich. Make a
longer.
bacon sandwich.
I like it's not like sliced bread that I munch on, but if it's like a roll or something, it's like yeah, I munch on it here and there. But yeah, actually, I agree. I feel like as of lately, with me being on my weight loss journey, like I've minimized how much bread I actually do eat, which is like good, but I'm still like intaking a lot of carbs because my coach always said like don't believe the myth of carbs are bad because carbs are your main source of energy.
Mm-hmm. It's fundamentally, it comes down to just calories in versus out.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I've
Doesn't
lost over
really matter
15
what
pounds,
you
so
eat.
yeah, I've lost over 15 pounds and I still eat the foods that I like.
Nice.
So I literally had
Yeah.
mac and cheese and chicken for lunch today. And like I tracked that shit and it was great source of protein and very low and surprisingly low in fat. So I was like, great.
Woohoo!
Like anyone that's like, oh, you have to cut out your favorite foods. I'm like, no, you don't.
Nope.
Like, no, you don't. You just have to like calculate or track so that it fits in. It's like fitting in appointments into your schedule. Like you just gotta
Yep.
make it work based on the numbers, like for time for scheduling, and then calories for weight loss. That's all it is.
100%. And that's the best way to lose weight because some people, if they do a stupid diet, a fad diet, they'll lose it and then gain it back. Because
I
they're
can
not.
never do keto
Yeah.
because they're not. Sorry, I cut you off there.
Nah, it's good. I
No,
finished
what were we
my
gonna say
thought.
though? It's because they're not like. Yeah, I just feel like with this like culture of diet culture and stuff like that, there's just it's so mixed that when you find a health coach like I did, and I'm very fortunate that they're not on the boat of like cut all carbs, no sugars, like do this, do that, da, 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 like being very, very restrictive. It's like it causes more damage than results. 'Cause everyone's so obsessed about like the results they want to see. It's like it causes more damage in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of damage.
Well, Jared, what have you been up to?
Not much. Just working. Playing Helldivers. Trying to save the Super Earth from the impending doom. Went to Haley's party. That was fun. Okay. Organized a bunch of my pins, so now they're on my walls.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's it. Nothing too
Live
interesting.
very interesting lives.
I just don't have time to be interesting right now.
I didn't have power to be.
That's the best time to be interesting. You go out on your adventures, explore
No.
the world.
That first day was too
Adventures out
fucking
there.
hot.
Alright, but what about the next day?
I was too tired.
Okay, what about the day after that?
That's still too tired. Jared, for
You
the
know where
past
this is
4
going.
days, I've been just drained.
Drained. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's fine. It'll pass. Always does.
All does in time.
I'm gonna try to force it
But yeah,
tomorrow. Make some shit done.
nothing too interesting. Nothing too fascinating. Nothing much.
Alright then.
I feel like same can be said about like gaming too this week. Or these past 2 weeks. But maybe it's just because it's not I'm not part of any of the communities where maybe there was actual like stuff happening.
Yeah, the only one that we're really a part of that a big thing happened was Helldivers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the Destiny 2 reveal shit.
What happened
Oh,
with you too?
well, I don't remember if we talked about it last podcast. They showed more of what's after the final shape with all the new shit coming out. I'd have to have it in front of me to tell you everything. But there was that. And then apparently someone working on Marathon stole someone's artwork again.
Oh, jeez.
Classic.
Bungie has done it 3 fucking times now.
No, they've gotten caught 3 times.
You're correct. They've only been caught 3 times. It could have been multiple more. They're currently in a lawsuit out for the 4th. Which it's biting
You're
them in the
referring to
ass
the
that they,
one with the book?
yeah, with the story
Red War?
of the Red War and Osiris as a character, I think. And it's biting them in the ass because they don't have any actual, like, footage or anything of their own. And the court said, we're not taking YouTube videos, fuck off. It's not evidence. So yeah. Potentially 4 times. How the fuck does this keep happening? How do they not vet this stuff much better at this point? Not even counting the...
Not to get caught.
Probably. Not even counting the fucking lawsuit. How does it happen 3 times? Nuts.
Crazy.
They also addressed it on a stream. And you could see the guy that addressed it. He's fucking defeated by this whole thing.
He's got no idea what he's going
he's
on. He's just
dead
paid to
inside.
read his script.
It was nuts. But no, it's that and Helldivers, the only 2 real communities that we've been a part of for massive things. We don't play too many of those games anymore. Actually, I don't even think there's been that many games that have had massive shit like that recently.
No more games.
I mean, there's many games.
But none of them are anymore.
Sure. Well, I think that's cue to start, Hailey.
Alright. This first one, I think I want to start with therapy. We all know it. Some of us are in it. I'm in it. And I think it's great. I definitely have noticed a change in how I react to my anxiety. So I figured I'd start something off with something that involves therapy. This is from AITAH. It is titled, Am I the Asshole for Telling Others About the Family Therapist Firing My Dad and His Wife? My mom died when I 16 was 11. My dad remarried last year. I didn't like it and I acted up. I still don't like it, in full disclosure. But I was a terror and made life harder for them. I felt like my dad betrayed me and my mom by marrying again, and so fast too. But my biggest thing was they expected her to slot right in like she was suddenly my parent too, and someone who got to make decisions for me. It was things like giving me new chores, telling me how to dress, what I should eat, where I should where I should and shouldn't go, trying to make me explain my homework to her and expecting me to let her review it. Shit like that I hated. And I would get so mad that I'd scream at her and at dad when he backed her up. So I'd sneak out, I was rude to them, and I wouldn't listen to her or other stuff like that. My dad tried talking to me, but he talked to me before he met her too. He made promises about how it would be just us until I was ready to move out. He promised he needed a lot of time before he could think about dating again because he loved my mom so much. Then he's already dating someone and they're getting married, and I was still 15 and I couldn't just leave. And not only that, but he was acting like she was now my parent too. I felt like that wasn't fair. Hell, date and keep her from moving in, but they had clearly talked about how she'd be a parent once she moved in because they were on the same page with that stuff. When things were getting so bad that dad was worried I'd run away and I considered it, I stayed out all night sometimes. He told us we needed family therapy. Strike one in family therapy was my dad and his wife refused the therapist's suggestions of each of us getting solo sessions too. They wanted just group sessions. Strike two was the way they would talk over me when I was asked what I would be okay with or would like to see. The therapist said if me, the teen, could listen, then could they. And strike three was when dad was arguing back against the therapist and his wife calling her useless. Dad said she was not giving good advice and that he didn't need to consult me on who could and couldn't come into our house or help him parent me. He said he didn't care if he sounded like an ass to me, but he had decided his wife was deserving of equal respect and authority. Strike four, which was the final strike, was they refused to compromise. I already had it. I stopped being so disrespectful and getting into so much trouble. I did ignore my dad's wife a lot because I couldn't handle talking to her with how she talked to me, but I wouldn't go anywhere without asking or stay out all night, and I didn't call her and I stopped calling her names. But they refused to discuss her not being my parent. The therapist even told me if she got them to agree, it would be reevaluated and discussed more over time, that she might end up with some parental like authority eventually. But they said she was staying my parent and they weren't willing to discuss it. They told the therapist she was meant to make me get on board with that. So the therapist told them they were wasting her time and she wouldn't see us all anymore. She did say she continued to see me since I worked with her, but my dad said no way, and so none of us are going back. They're pissed that she fired them. Oh, they're pissed that she fired them. I found it hilarious. I told my friends, I told my different family members, I told the neighbor who dad would tell all their shit to before, and my dad hates it. He told me I'm trying to humiliate them and it's personal business, not public. I told him if he could tell people our business, then so could I. He told me I was enjoying it way too much. Then we got into another fight. But hey, I just went into my room instead of sneaking out. Dad and his wife are blaming me because dad's side of the family are giving them shit for getting fired from therapy. Am I the asshole?
Nah,
No.
I mean that's
What
your
the
experience
fuck?
too. So you've got a right to share your experience with anyone that you want. I mean, they're part of it. And they made their bed. They lie on it, and also they got shat on.
Like pot meat kettle, like you go around telling everyone else your business. Why can't your son do the same thing? If he's doing the same thing that he claims that that they claim that you're doing, I should say they because they didn't specify a gender.
Mhm.
But if the dad is going around, nope, he's doing the same thing, but dad's like, oh, that's not fair. How? Like, explain to me how. It's just like they're 16, they're still a kid, and from what they said, it's like dad was making all of these promises, and then he found someone, which is like it's fine if you want to move past that, but it seemed like you were promising your kid that you weren't going to move on with someone until like they were in adulthood, and because they're still a kid, like I want to really emphasize that they took that to heart. And this happens, I feel like, a lot when like there's a late spouse involved where it could go either way, where either side feels the need to replace them in some way by instantly finding someone and like getting married to them again, because there's a lot of thought and a lot of influence too from possible like past in-laws or just family, where they pressure you into getting into a new relationship so that if there's kids involved, there's still like two sets of parents involved so that they can quote like grow up in a normal household.
Yeah.
Which, as we all know now, like there is no such thing as a normal household. So I feel really bad for this kid.
No,
Of course,
that's
there's a normal
shit.
household. It's called a nuclear family.
Totally normal.
100%.
Definitely nothing wrong with it.
Nope. America.
I can't get over the fact that the stepmom here, like OP's dad's new wife, I can't believe she was calling the therapist useless. I was like, you're not being receptive. That's like the whole part about like being like that's like one of the things that you need to go into when you put yourself into therapy, is that you need to be receptive of what the therapist is telling you, whether it's may sting or not, like whether you're aware of the issue or not. Like there are some times where there's going to be a whiplash moment where it's like, wait, what? But you need to be receptive for it in order for any progress to happen. So, and the dad being all like, well, you're supposed to convince our child that what we're doing is right. It's like, that's just enablement then.
Yep.
And I think it's a good idea for this kid to like still stay in therapy, not just to work, because it seems like they have like borderline like anger issues too, but there's also still a lot of trauma from their mom passing away. So I feel like it's a good idea for them to still be in therapy for those reasons. But they, if from what it seems like other members from his dad's side um are very supportive of them. So maybe one of them can fund further therapy if they still want to attend.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in school, there's always school therapists up until you're out of
Yeah, that's true.
school.
Yeah, that's true. Top comment on this post was, sounds like your dad is willing to throw away a future with you for this woman. I tell that's exactly what he's doing, and when I turned 18, I'd be gone from his life and let him end up a sad, miserable, and alone man.
Yeah. This shit on kid. Or not kid. I guess dad.
Yeah. Someone else says, imagine being such a mess your therapist discovers the teenager is the only adult in the sessions. They are correct. They were correct to quit them, not the asshole. Let me
I don't
see.
think it's the vibe that they're narcissists. That's what I think.
I mean,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
getting
I
that
mean,
too.
it's like borderline. Like these are clear. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but these are clear like traits of someone that you just look at and you can kind of look at them and just be like, yeah, this is this. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but no, I agree. It's like borderline. Like you can just hear these things. That's like,
Mm-hmm.
sounds similar to something that a narcissist would say.
I mean, it might not
Narcissistic
be
tendency.
that exact. Yeah. I just find it sus that they wouldn't do one-on-one sessions, but they do group ones in an attempt to prove their side right.
Yeah.
I feel like if they did allow it, though, they'd be the ones to ask the therapist for all the information that the kids said in the sessions from the therapist.
It definitely would.
Yeah.
They'd be the one trying to pull that information where it's like, no, confidentiality. Like, I can't tell you that shit.
Unless they're trying to harm themselves.
or others.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's only a couple of comments from this writer here. One of them is to this one that has a couple downvotes, but it says, okay, so it's okay for your father to be your parent and make choices about you, but when he puts your stepmother in charge, you fight him on it. You need to make up your mind. Either he's the one who chooses or not. And Opie says, he doesn't get to choose another parent for me because that's what she was doing, and that's not okay with me. She's never going to be my parent. And that's okay to stand on that, especially if there was no effort or no like genuine attempt to try to get to know the kid on their own in their own way, or at least the way that they wanted to kind of like be more vulnerable and open to them to maybe think about that possibility. It just seemed like they got married and was like, oh, I'm your mom, like I'm in charge of you now, like I get to have a say in what you do. And it's like you're not entitled to that just because you married someone with a kid. I mean, and even if you marry someone with a kid and you have a good relationship with them, it's up to them whether or not they view you or call you their parent.
Mm-hmm.
You can't force that on anyone.
Not at all. You think you deserve it? Be a good fucking step parent. Be there.
Yeah. All right. Moving along. This is a short but sweet one. Also involves the therapist. This is from the Today I Fucked Up subreddit.
Oh, my favorite.
Like I said, short and sweet. It's titled, Today I Fucked Up by Sending My Therapist a Meme Meant for My Ex.
Holy
Nice.
shit.
So I've been going to therapy for a while and it's going okay. I cry less when someone says, we need to talk, so progress? Question mark? Anyway, last night I was feeling bold, decided to message my ex something lighthearted to break the ice. Found this perfect meme of a skeleton sitting in a therapist chair saying, it's not that deep, Susan. I'm literally dead. Classic, passive aggressive, emotionally immature, just my style. Except I didn't send it to my ex, I actually sent it to my therapist at 11:47 p.m. with the caption, haha, remember when you said I have abandonment issues? No reply for hours. I went to bed thinking, okay, maybe she'll laugh. She gets my humor. She did not. Today in session, she printed the meme, handed it to me, and said, let's unpack this. I spent 45 minutes analyzing a meme I meant to send out of pettiness. She said it was deeply revealing, and I said it was deeply unfortunate. We both cried for very different reasons. TLDR, tried to roast my ex, roasted my soul instead. Therapy now costs more emotionally than financially.
Damn.
That's rough.
Big oof. Oh, God. I mean, kudos to the therapist for still being like, hey, does this mean anything deeper? But honestly, like, I feel like if I sent something like this to my therapist, she would laugh. I feel like she would laugh about it.
I think it's someone that just started therapy, so I don't think that they're on a place where they like feel that really personal connection yet. Is what it sounds like. So I can
Yeah,
see
you're
how
probably right.
it could be like really awkward for him.
Yeah, maybe
Definitely.
they're still in like that like introduction phase or just the earlier stages of therapy. You're probably right. In the still like getting to know the client and the therapist. So I get that. Someone says she dot 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 printed the meme, and someone else says easiest way to set a clear boundary from the get go. Therapy is like the gym. Sometimes it hurts. Oh, God.
Therapy is like the gym.
Sometimes it hurts. like I said, short and sweet. But side note, I'm not really one usually for dark humor, but I was out with one of my best friends. We were going to a concert last week, and as we were on my way to pick up my other friend, he said something about like picking up 5-hour energies, and I was like, oh, like I remember those. My uncle used to drink those all the time, and he was like, yeah, you got to be careful though, because it'll like make your heart like feel a certain way. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like, he died of a heart attack. That's why he died of a heart attack. And he was like, oh, and that was my first shot
Fucking
ever at dark
hell.
humor. And then I told my other friend about that, who has a
A lot of
very
energy.
like
Okay.
dark. And then I told my other friend when she got in the car, who has a very dark sense of humor, what I said, and she was like, "Ah, I could not be prouder."
Fucking amazing.
So that's, I guess, progress for me, because it's like I've never been one to like shot in the dark with like the dark humor and stuff, because I was like, oh, I feel like it's like too far. But with this one, I was like, oh no, like punchline, I can use that. Plus, it's my own experience, so it's my own stuff.
That's usually when humor is the funniest. You draw from your own experiences.
Yeah, may my uncle rest in peace.
Alright.
All right, next one. This is originally coming from the legal advice subreddit, but I'm getting this post from Best of Redditor Updates, so buckle up.
Well, we're perfect for this. Me and Mac know everything about the law.
Uh-huh.
I would like to
Mhm.
I would like to emphasize, though, for the sake of just being out on the internet, we are not lawyers. We are not giving legal advice in any way. We're just simply reading stories and giving our input on it. Want to put that out there for this being on the internet.
I'm gonna say
This one's
this.
titled.
If you fucking take advice from idiots on a podcast, legal advice, you deserve to lose.
Also, the kind of person to not read the terms and conditions that you signed. So if you're taking advice from us.
This one is titled Company car I was driving was hit by a drunk driver. Insurance fully paid for the car, but the company says I still owe them $40,000. So this one's
Fucking
an
what?
oldie. This one's good. Yeah, I know. This one actually comes back in 2015, so over a decade ago.
Damn.
No way that the lawyers tell them that they need to pay that money.
I mean,
There's no
yeah,
way that they're
especially,
liable for that.
yeah.
Not at all.
So the post itself is pretty short, but then like we'll go into comments and stuff afterwards before the update. So it says, I was on my way home from work in my company car when I was hit almost head on by a drunk driver. He was found at fault by the
Apply directly
police
to the
and the
front.
insurance company. What?
Head on, apply directly to the forehead.
I think
I'll
like
show you later.
he was found at fault by the police and the insurance company and was charged and convicted. His insurance settled with the company and gave them a payout to replace the car, which the company lawyer accepted. I'm still off work recovering from my injuries and I probably won't be back for 3 more months. Last month, I received a letter from the company stating that I owed them the cost of the car because I was the one responsible for it when it was totaled and written off. I thought it was a mistake or something, so I called the insurance company, got written confirmation of the settlement, and sent it into them with a note that the car had already been paid for by the insurance company. Now they have sent me to a collection agency, and I have debt collectors calling me saying I owe them $40,000. For context, I live in California. Do I call the insurance company to let them know, or do I need to get a lawyer? Is them calling the debt collector even legal? Sorry if these questions are stupid, but I am already stressed enough from trying to recover, and this has just made it worse. What kind
Sounds
of
like a
money
stressed
hungry
out
company
lawyer.
is this? Yeah,
better.
I'd say get a lawyer regardless, but like, what kind of
Yeah.
money-hungry company is this? Because I was gonna say, like, just from the title alone, I'm like, if you just send them the claim or just confirmation of something like the billing or whatever to them that the car is paid off for after the accident, I'm like, then that's it. It should be a done deal. It should be null and void at that point because everything was taken care of. Which thank God everything was taken care of, because if it wasn't, then this would be like an entirely different theme.
Definitely.
It was all bada bing, bada boom.
Like, are they trying to make her, like, are they trying to gaslight her into thinking that like the accident was her fault just because she was driving the company car?
Step 1, gaslight. Step 2, girl boss. Step 3, gatekeep.
Isn't gatekeep number 2?
Yeah, probably. It makes more sense that way.
Alright. Yeah, no, that fucking makes no sense. It's fully paid for. There is zero shot they would get any money out of the employee.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I guess there's only
Relevant,
one way to find out.
yeah, relevant comments before the update. Just like a few that OP responded to. One of them said, try making some phone calls to your employer and the insurance company to see if you can get things straightened out quickly. But if you hit a brick wall, it's time to get an attorney involved and don't let this go for too long. Opie says, my employer tells me I have to talk to the debt collector since it is in their hands now. I'll call the insurance company first thing Monday morning to see what they say. Also, this is going to sound like a stupid question, but what the fuck is a debt collector?
They're the people that you get your stuff outsourced to. Okay, hold on. I'll explain this a little bit better.
They
know
buy your
how
debt
you
for
have-
pennies on the dollar. And then they come to
There you go.
you to get you to pay it.
So whatever company OP worked for, their debt was something that they had like a dollar value assigned to for the company, and they sold that to debt collectors, and the debt collectors are gonna try to get a profit off of it by collecting the debt.
Or it'll get sent to collections and fuck up your
credit score.
yeah.
Hey,
As
you
most
can take this as legal advice. Just fake your death.
just fake it. Your debt or your death?
Yes.
I mean, if one doesn't
Another
work, do the other
comment.
one.
Another comment. It sounds like maybe you work for a pretty large company. You might need to climb the chain of command to speak with someone who has more familiarity with these issues. Your own employer should not be trying to collect a debt from you, whether directly or through a debt collection agency. The insurance company represents your employer, so they will probably be of a limited assistance. More than likely, you'll need the help of an attorney to cut through this red tape. And Opie says the drunk driver's insurance company paid them the $40,000 as a settlement to replace the car. This was accepted by the company lawyer in a letter, and payment was sent. That's what I was gonna say too. I'm like, if this was the company lawyer, like, why are they pressing for this money still?
Yeah.
It's money.
And then last comment says, I got it. Yeah, it sounds like someone at your employer screwed up. You need to work your way up the chain to find the person who can rescind the decision to send it to collections. The insurance company might be able to give you some leverage or documentation or contact info. And now for the update. TLDR version is that I was almost killed by a drunk driver while I was driving a company car. His insurance paid the blue book value of $40,000 to the company, but I was sent to collections and told that I owed them $40,000 for the car because I didn't return it to them in the condition which they gave it to me in. No one at the company or the collection agency would help me, and they just sent me back and forth. Company told me to talk to collections. Collections told me to talk to the company. So I ended up getting a lawyer because the stress of being hounded by collections was setting back my recovery. The lawyer sent a very strongly worded letter to someone high up that I couldn't reach myself because I kept getting run the runaround. That person didn't know anything about it, and the company launched an investigation. The three people who kept giving me the run around ended up being charged with fraud and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know much, but the police say that they have emails and they think the three were planning on keeping the payment for themselves since the company was already paid. They are also in trouble for fraudulently using company resources to send me to collections for a fake debt. Afterward, my company wrote me a letter with an apology. They paid the cost for my lawyer and made sure the debt was removed from my record. They also made a donation to a charity of my choice. I'm nearly ready to return to work, but they told me to take as much time as I need to not slow down my progress in my recovery. After talking with the police, I believe the higher ups were not aware because the police say the three were trying to keep it a secret. The drunk driver's insurance is paying all my bills related to the incident, so I won't have debt from this ever. All in all, I am doing much better. I would like to thank the legal advice subreddit and everyone who offered advice and encouragement and sent me supportive messages. You're also helpful, and I appreciate it.
Woohoo! That's a W for
Wow,
Reddit.
woo, but what a bunch of dicks. Like,
Yeah.
harassing someone who is probably, like, depending on how bad her accident was, like, probably has to go through a lot of, like, physical therapy and just, like, also regular therapy to, like, recover from this terrible, terrible thing that happened to them. Like, you're just a piece of shit person for tormenting someone who's already trying to just relax and recover the best she can before she goes back to work, just so you can make a quick buck.
Fucking
It
nuts.
sounds like they were banking on Opie having amnesia.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Fuck 'em.
But it's a good thing that someone was like, something's off because we weren't told this, and an investigation was taken place. That was a good step. I was like, ooh, okay, that was a good idea. I didn't even think that. I just figured this was a money hungry like company altogether, and they were just trying to get something out of her.
Same.
Can confirm they don't work for FedEx. They would have doubled it and give it to the next person.
Damn.
Moving along. Question for both of you. Jared, I know you're pretty into Lego building. Mac, how do you feel about Legos?
I enjoy Lego.
Matt,
You
you
enjoy
don't have to
Lego?
answer that question if it makes you uncomfortable.
What?
We understand if it goes beyond your beliefs.
If the Lego building is too much for you to handle bringing up right now, we can skip it.
I'm good. We can
For
talk
my
about
birthday,
Lego.
actually, I don't know if Jared. I don't know if Jared told you, but Jared got me the Twilight Cullen House Lego set for my birthday.
Yeah. We talked about it. He wanted to try to find it for cheaper. I tried to help.
I don't blame you guys for that. I don't blame you for
Not
that at all.
successful.
No.
No, everywhere we looked, it was fucking more expensive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
Can't
like
believe buying it directly from the
From
kids.
Lego themselves, yeah.
from Lego themselves, I know. Well, this story involves Lego. It involves a specific Lego set.
Woohoo!
We're going
Lego
right
set.
back.
Is it a Star Wars one?
It is a Star Wars one.
Knew it.
Is it the Star Wars one with the very original Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul?
I don't know. Let's see.
Let's find
Let's
out.
see. So we're going right back to AITAH, and it is titled, Am I the asshole for not letting my mother-in-law come over after she destroyed my Millennium Falcon Lego set?
Oh, I was thinking it was Death Star.
I thought Death Star too.
I, 38 male, live with my wife, 37 female, and my 7-year-old son. I work as an engineer, and my wife is a senior supervisor at a law firm. I've always loved Lego since I was a kid, and sure, it's kind of childish, but it makes me happy, so I've kept it as a consistent hobby throughout my adult life. Nothing wrong with that. I used to
Hey,
have a job where I
it's
built
not
Legos all the time.
childish. It says ages
It's not
blank
childish.
and up. I am
Exactly.
up.
You sound
Mac,
like
what's up,
Will
he's
Ferrell
it?
in the Lego. Sound like Will Ferrell in the Lego movie, where like the age is just a suggestion,
Exactly.
which it is.
Okay, hold on.
Which it
Don't put that
is.
up front.
Fucking Jared.
But yeah, like I said, nothing wrong with that. I used to have a job where I played with Legos for a living with kids. It was great for the time being. In 2024, I spent months building the Millennium Falcon with my son. Aw. It's
Aw.
me and my son's pride and joy, and I often show guests who come over. My wife doesn't really get the hype, but doesn't mind either. In early March, my wife's parents came over for a week, and they spent time with us. As I usually do with guests, I asked them if they would want to see my Lego collection. They agreed, and I showed both my father and my mother-in-law my Millennium Falcon. Her father was amazed at the time it took to build this sizable collection, but her mother said that it was a waste of time and that I should focus on being a real man and move up to the corporate ladder. I laughed it off because she's pretty old, and I figured she just held very old-fashioned beliefs. We left the room, and nobody really mentioned it for a few hours, but at dinner, her mother said out of nowhere that I should give up on this Lego nonsense and be a real man. We ignored this and moved on, but you could see in her expression that she was not happy. Nobody said anything about it for the rest of their stay, and all seemed well the morning they left. They left at around 3 a.m. to catch a flight, and we waved them off. I went back to the room. Oh, I went back to the bed, but the next morning, awoken to find my millennial falcon smashed into pieces with a note from my wife's mother calmly saying that this was for my own good so that I can be a real man and focus on what matters. It turns out she had quietly destroyed it in the night and left in the morning. Me and my son, especially, are very upset. I called her in the morning, but she refused to apologize. I said that until she apologized, they would not be coming back again. My wife is not happy with this decision on this matter, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder if I overreacted. Did I go overboard, or am I in the right? Okay,
That
100% in
mom
the
is a
right.
cunt.
I'm mad.
Imagine,
I'm
Jared, God
mad.
damn it. I have to
I
cut
am
that out.
mad. I am mad. What did he say?
I called her a
Uh,
cunt.
Oh,
Stop it! YouTube
I
hates
got it
that.
back.
say that. Use the abbreviations. Use the see you next Tuesday.
Son of a bitch, Jared.
I just
Okay,
don't think
time's
there's a
up
better
now.
word.
There's not
Like-
a better word, but why'd you triple down? You fuck.
At that point I just felt like I had to.
Oh my god.
I don't
No,
know. I guess
100%.
I'm very passionate about it because it's something you built with your son. And
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. I was going to say, ma'am, if you had paid attention to what this man was saying, or even had a little bit of grace, you would understand that this was something that he built with and bonded over with your grandson. And think of it this way, would you have done the same thing if it was just your grandson being all like, Grammy, look, I built this. Isn't it really cool? Would you say the same thing to him?
She probably would.
Like, I hate the phrase man up. I hate that phrase like so much because it's just so like it gets men nowhere. And it's like, what does that even really mean? Like, oh, man up. What does man up even really mean to you? Like, oh, like work on the corporate ladder, or like, oh, you need to provide better for your family. Like, oh, like you can't live any more childish dreams. Like Max said, first of all, is not childish. Second of all, like Jared said, this was a bonding experience for him and his son. And I hate this wife for being all like, no, like, why do we have to ban my parents just for doing this silly little thing? She went behind his back because she knew it was wrong to tear it apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say too. Like, you wouldn't have done this sneakily if you didn't know it was like wrong, right?
If they think breaking this Lego set means nothing, how about you go to their house, smash their TV?
Break
Fuck
Yeah.
'em.
their kneecaps. See how far they get with that. No more kneecaps.
Ugh, this just makes me so mad. I'm just so mad, especially with the fact that he built this with his son and the wife
Yeah.
isn't doing anything to like defend both of them, not just OP, but like their son too.
Well,
It's
it
like I can't,
wasn't said what the wife's reaction was to it, was it? Or did I
it
miss
said
it?
my wife is not happy. It said my wife is not happy with the decision of me not wanting her parents to come back if they don't apologize. And honestly, I'm starting to wondering if I overreact. No, you are not
No.
wrong. You are in the right.
100% in the right. Because again,
Because
what
she's
if they
probably
just came in there and just smashed anything else? That doesn't give them the right because it's something that people see kids play with. It doesn't give them the right to be like, oh, an adult's playing with this. It's time to break it because they're not being a fucking adult.
So
that's
anyway,
like ripping
start
the
smashing.
That's like going into someone's house and like breaking their PS5 because it's like, oh, video games are immature.
Yeah.
Hey, that's another Reddit story we could talk about.
That's a whole other Reddit story that I've heard before. That makes me mad. Okay, top comment. Not the asshole. It just shows your mother-in-law does not care about you or your son at all. Thank you. Someone else pointed out the son too. That's a horrible person to be around, and even a worse grandmother. She needs to be aware of how her actions made negative impact on her grandchild and you. This is not just something for you, but something for both of you and your son to enjoy. It doesn't matter if she thinks it's childish or a waste of time. It's how you've been bonding with your son. Boom. And that's what I was thinking too. I was like, God forbid if she wasn't being as quiet as she thought she was, and the son heard and saw all of this.
Yeah.
How would she have perceived it then? If it was that the son heard her and woke up in the middle of the night to see his own grandmother ripping this Lego set to shreds, would she have changed her tune? Like, I hate even thinking that because it's like the poor child, but it's like what if? Would she
I don't
still
know. It's
refuse
good
to
to cut him out of
apologize?
the life early.
The poor
And it's a
baby.
grandma. Maybe there's not much left of a life for them anyway. One can only
Yeah, it
hope.
doesn't say how. Someone else says, respecting someone else's property is common decency. You and your son invested time and interest in a hobby that brings you guys joy. That is just as, if not more, important as increasing your earning potential. When your son is an adult, he will retell memories of the time you spent together. Yeah.
I can say he can say this right now. If he's fucking sitting there buying Lego and he has a collection, he's not making nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lego doobie dooey.
Lego's expensive.
They do be expensive. God, that like, because I get it, like all those hours and like time and days that you took just to like make this plausible. It's just it's a gut wrenching feeling when it's all just shattered like that.
Yeah.
Only plus side is that Legos can be built together again. And even if you don't have the directions, you can find it online.
Yeah.
And, update. First off,
Oh, she's dead.
I want
Goddamn it, Jarred.
First off, I want to thank everyone for the outpouring of support. It's been wonderful seeing everyone's advice has helped me realize a few things. I had a long talk with my wife in an attempt to resolve the situation, and we've again called the mother-in-law, which I hoped would diffuse the situation and bring things back to earth. Instead, tension has seemed only to have escalated. For anyone who didn't see the original post, my wife's parents came to visit for a week in which things went relatively smooth aside from some disparaging comments about my Lego collection from the mother-in-law. But after they left in the night, we discovered that the Millennium Falcon that I built with my son destroyed with a note from my mother-in-law saying that she did this so that I can move on and be a real man. Firstly, after lunch, my wife and I discussed the situation adult to adult. I expressed my feelings of her not being behind me in this, and she admitted to having harbored feelings against my Lego collection. She also admitted to secretly agreeing partially with my mom. Wait, my mother? Or her mother?
Might have just been a typo.
Yeah, I think it was a typo. It says mother-in-law in the title, so yeah, I think that's just a mistake.
Yeah.
Let me backtrack. It has my feelings of her not being behind me on this. She admitted to having harbored feelings against my Lego collection, and she also admitted to secretly agreeing partially with her mother. She doesn't think that her mother should have gone as far as she did, but according to my wife, I need to move on.
Yeah, from their relationship.
Yes. I'm like, the relationship? I feel hurt by
Hope the
this
wife
since
gets hit by a car.
it's been my lifelong hobby, and being an engineer. Oh my god, I completely forgot. He said he worked as an engineer. Of course he likes Legos. My literal job was about teaching kids Lego projects with the traits that it takes to like be an engineer. It was an engineering Lego building class that I was in. Oh my god. Now I'm more mad. I am more mad than I was before, now remembering this information. Because because now I'm thinking about the son again, and it's like he's teaching his kid like engineering core skills at a very young age, and it's like, yeah, like I want to be like my dad, probably.
You know what? Time to teach your kid the next most important skill in life: how to hide a body.
Nope.
I feel hurt by this since it's been my long hobby, and being an engineer, I take great joy in building various creations with Legos. After that, my wife and I were certainly not in agreement, but we were at least on the same page. Where? We also both wanted to resolve things with my mother-in-law, so that day we called her mother, and things did not go well, to say the least. I simply told her that I was sorry I had to not let her come back, and I hope things can resolve quickly. Still feeling upset about the Lego Millennium Falcon, I said that all I asked of her was an apology. She refused, saying that if she bends for me at all, I would never get over my Lego obsession. My wife is not happy with any of this, and frankly, the marriage is starting to show tension, which worries me greatly. She seems to be more distant after all of this. My son has developed a strong disliking of my mother-in-law, and I can't really blame him.
Hell yeah.
Neither can I. Neither can I. And this kid's 7. She has been getting a little crazy and seems to only talk about Trump these days. Oh God. Should we start
Oh,
considering a senior home for her? So that's the update.
start
Things are getting even
considering
worse, and I'm not.
graveyard, dude.
I was gonna say, should that say coffin? Things are getting even worse, and I'm not sure if I can even salvage the situation. I'll update everyone when new developments occur.
Hey, it
Is
sounds like
there
a
any more?
fucking Trumper.
Is there any more updates? Whoa, okay. So this post was originally oh, actually, like this post is still fairly new. The original post was just posted yesterday, and the update was posted 8 hours ago.
Damn.
Update.
So
Mom was an anti-vaxxer and died of COVID. Hallelujah.
top
Good.
comment on the update was seems like some deeper issues here than Legos. My guess would be that your mother-in-law's actions and words are based on things that your wife has said to her. Ooh, I can see that. I don't know what off the rails, but your wife likely lit the fuse. I think that comment is onto something.
Yeah, I could definitely
Divorce.
see that.
Give her the D. Divorce. Ugh,
Yes.
I'm over this one. I'm very mad. All right. Do we want? I'll give you guys a choice. These are coming from 3 different subreddits. The first one is from Cheer Off My Chest. It says, I'm dumping my disabled pregnant friend of 15 years. The
What?
second one is the second one is from the advice subreddit, and it's titled Husband Keeps, quote, accidentally hurting me.
sounds like the one about the one in the sleep. Was there a third
Or
one?
3, I was gonna say, or 3, this one comes from the relationship advice subreddit. It says, my fiance, 39 male, and myself, 38 female, are getting married in October. He has a gambling problem and blows money bad. I asked him if he would let me help or manage our finances, and he said no. What should my response be to him?
No marriage.
Managed his dick. Take him.
And
Which one are we
any of
leaning
these
towards?
sound fucking horrendous. All
You
these
got any
people sound
nicer
shitty.
ones?
We could always go back to today. I fucked up.
You know, you got any petty revenge stories on your list?
I can always look that up.
Hey, if it's more work for you, then nah. We'll choose one.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say, just pick one for now, and then I can look up a petty revenge one after. Or here, how about this
Like,
one? This is a best Redditor update. This is a best Redditor updates one. Am I the asshole for dropping out of vacation plans and causing some of the group to not be able to afford the trip anymore?
okay.
Yeah, I'm good with any of them.
No, I want you to pick.
Mac just wants the one that's gonna make me the least passionate.
See, I don't mind your passion. I just want you to also watch your words with the passion.
Can't watch words when I'm talking, Mac. Can't see my speak.
What are you talking about? Those closed captions. You don't see them?
No? How'd you get that out on?
I don't know. Just kind of woke up one day.
Man, I didn't get the good updates. Alright,
I don't know.
let's figure out what kind of trip this was. An acid trip. And they couldn't afford it.
Alright, go to the trip. Alright, so, title again. Am I the asshole for dropping out of vacation plans and causing some of the group to not be able to afford the trip anymore? And on the Best of Redditor Updates subreddit, it says that this post is still ongoing. So whatever update we get is not the conclusion of whatever this may be.
Oh.
An ongoing post.
Juicy. Very, very juicy.
Like a peach.
Like a peach. Oh. So, like I said, I'm pulling this up from the Best Redditor Updates, but this was actually originally posted to me and Jared's favorite podcast, the Two Hot Takes subreddit.
What are you talking about? We're on my favorite podcast. Come on. And it's not even close. Pixel Kitchen Podcast.
He might not be lying. He actually got it correct this time.
Well, then let me reword it. One of our favorite podcasts.
There we go.
All right. I am going to add this because it's written in the post. Trigger warning for mentions of abuse and trauma and possible essay. So take this lightly, and if you can't listen to this, please skip ahead to the next one. It'll probably be a more lighthearted one with either a petty revenge one or a today I fucked up one. So just heads up, if you can't handle it, please skip ahead. We completely understand. A group of my friends and I, 20 female, were planning on going on a mini week long vacation this summer. We had planned on renting an Airbnb and splitting it evenly between the 6 of us. Important note, nothing has been officially booked or paid for yet, but one of the girls is actively in contact with the Airbnb host and they are kindly holding our dates until the end of this week. However, my best friend Casey, 21 female, and I recently found out that one of the girls, Monica, 22 female, started hanging out with Casey's ex. For some context, Casey's ex Theo is not a good guy. They dated for a year in high school, and during that time, he was abusive and sexually assaulted Casey multiple times throughout their relationship. This is not news to anyone. Casey went to the authorities about it and was dragged through court, but in the end, Theo was in fact guilty. Obviously, Monica knows about Theo and Casey's past, which is presumably she didn't tell any of us that she was seeing him. Casey found out about this after one of her friends saw them together, and she came straight to me. She's obviously extremely hurt and immediately told me she can no longer be friends with Monica. I'm also disgusted by Monica's actions and also cannot see myself being friends with her anymore. Casey and I both sent a quick message to our vacation planning group chat to say that we would no longer be attending the vacation. We didn't really give much of an explanation as to why, but they all started messaging and calling nonstop demanding answers. Finally, Casey just said, quote, I refuse to share a space with someone who is actively fucking the ex-boyfriend that traumatized me. We both left the chat after that, and now all the girls are messaging us individually. One of the other girls was a bit calmer and asked us to tell us what happened, so Casey told her about Monica and Theo. The other two are more angry at us, basically saying we're terrible friends for bailing on plans over a high school relationship. And now they can't afford the vacation anymore because the Airbnb is too expensive to split between 4 people. Monica hasn't texted or called me at all, but she sent Casey a long message that basically said, sorry for not telling you about him, but he's different now, and he's actually a good guy. Casey didn't reply to it yet, but she showed it to me and is deciding how and if she will eventually reply. So, are we the assholes for dropping out of the vacation? Should we have just gone and dealt with the situation afterwards? I do feel bad that they won't be able to afford it now, but Casey is one of my closest friends, and I know how hurt she is by Monica's actions. Any advice is helpful. Thank you. Monica, you deserve to die in a black hole. I said what I said. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. How can anyone be okay with dating someone that has a past like this? Even if you take like the essay out of it and it was just like he put hands on a woman, I wouldn't even want to date someone that said like, oh yeah, like I used to smack like women around her, or I did this one time, so like my last girlfriend, but like it's not like that anymore. No, absolutely not. I hate when people try to justify it being like, well, they're different now. It's like, well, you see that now because you're in the honeymoon stage and you're wanting to see the good in someone, but when the evidence is right there that they're clearly not a good person, this isn't just a high school relationship, as some of the friends said. Like this is something that has affected Casey for a long time. Like this incident is going to impact her for a good while, and the fact that, again, it goes back to what I said in the last story where it was like she didn't say anything because she knew deep down it was wrong.
Yeah. She knew it was wrong and she didn't care.
And she didn't care because she's like, well, I'm happy, so like why should I, like I'm so happy, so like why should it affect everyone else, like if I'm just happy?
Yep. Some fucking
I got
people.
a question for you too.
Let's hear it.
I'm personally in complete agreement. I don't think that the friends here, like the OP and the other friend, are in the wrong at all. And I think that they have a really good reason, but even if they didn't have any reason, there's no obligation to commit to that. It's not been paid for, and you are allowed to back out of something whenever you
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask, do we think that people can change?
It's hard for me to answer that when it comes to being physically and, in this case, sexually abusive towards somebody. It's hard for me to answer that because it's such a serious thing that I'm passionate about, where it's like the minute I find out someone did that, I'm like, oh, well, you deserve all that's coming for you. But I
And then they get
guess if
elected
it was,
president.
oh, was that?
I said, and then they get elected president.
um, I know in some, like, it's like I don't disagree, but I don't completely agree. I know some people say, um, like, oh, can cheaters change? Like, if it was in the sense of like cheating and stuff, it's like I don't agree, nor do I necessarily disagree. Where when people say like, oh, I do believe like cheaters can change, especially if they like own up to it right away and then like do the work to prove that like it was a mistake and that they aren't going to do it again if they take all the steps to like make it right with their partner. Like, I don't agree with cheating, period. But it's like I said, I don't agree or disagree when people say like, oh, like they did all that they could to like make it up or make sure that like they were going to do anything they can to prove that they weren't ever going to do something like that again. So it's just hard. It's kind of a hard question to answer, in my opinion.
Well, that's kind of why I asked it. What do you think, Mac?
I think people as a whole can change, but doesn't matter if they change or not. People can still just not want to be around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So them
I
changing
mean, I've had
means
people.
nothing, ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people in my life say like, "Oh, well, I've changed. So like, is there any way we can like reconcile?" And it's like, well, I've changed too, but I've changed in the sense where it's like I'm not just gonna take anyone's bull crap just for the sake of, reconciling a friendship that clearly was a lie or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or was just temporary in your eyes, or just me being a placeholder for somebody.
Yep.
So one of the comments on this post was, not the asshole, they just can rent a smaller Airbnb, and Casey shouldn't be in a situation where she has to listen to anyone sing the praises of her abuser, ever. You're a stand-up friend for supporting her and doing the right thing. Yeah, OP is an amazing friend because I would be doing the exact same thing. Because as soon as I would like hear like the name of someone's abuser, I'd be like, nope, 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 and do anything I can to not only like protect my friend, but also make sure that everyone's alerted of like what's going on in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else says, absolutely not the asshole. A high school relationship? No, she's upset because her quote unquote friend is in a relationship with someone who abused her and SA'd her. That other girl isn't your friend either. You and Casey should take a vacation, just the two of you, block Monica, and she's going to learn that an abusive does not change.
They really don't.
Like I said, I don't ever understand why anyone could be with someone that has done something like that. Okay, update. 5 days later. If you didn't see the original post, it's still up on my page. But the TLDR of it is that my best friend Casey and I were supposed to go on a girls' trip with 4 other girls this summer. However, Casey and I dropped out because we recently found out that one of the friends is dating Casey's ex. Monica had recently started seeing Casey's ex, who she took to court for abuse and assault. Monica, quote, apologized to Casey, but insists that Theo is a good guy now. Two of the girls in the group are upset with Casey and I for dropping out because they claim they can no longer afford the Airbnb with less people. Boy, do I have an update for you guys. This has somehow spiraled into a huge mess in such a short amount of time. No easy
Hit
way
the
to
top
say
one,
this.
Mac.
Hmm?
No easy way to say this, but we found out that, oh no, oh no.
Monica's
No,
pregnant.
wait.
Woo!
No easy way to say this, but we found out that Monica has been seeing Theo for a lot longer than Casey and I had originally thought. Like, it's been a whole year. The two friends that were upset with Casey and I for dropping out of the trip also knew the entire time. Monica called me a couple nights ago saying she wanted to explain everything to me before she told Casey. She basically told me that this all started when she bumped into Theo at the gym. She said that at first she didn't talk to him, but she kept seeing him there on multiple different days, and eventually she left the gym to find him waiting at her car. Apparently, he just said that she looked great and that he'd love to reconnect and asked for her number. Monica said she was scared of what he would do if she said no, so she gave it to him and he began texting her over the next few days to coordinate their gym schedules, and she eventually caved and they started working out together. She said that at first it was just working out. Then one day they went for food together after the gym, and Theo finally brought up his past with Casey. Apparently, he said something along the lines of, I know you're still friends with Casey, and I wasn't the best boyfriend to her in the past, but I've learned a lot since then, and I swear I'm a completely different person now. Where's the bullshit? And then he started crying and went on a bit of a rant about how he wishes he could take it all back. Monica says she could see he really meant it, and they ended up kissing, and it all just escalated from there. I have no idea how Monica expected me to respond, but I quite literally just told her to fuck off and hung up the phone. I called Casey right after and basically told her the whole story that Monica told me. Casey was heartbroken and angry and asked if I could come over to hang out for a bit, so I did. While Casey and I were hanging out, I started wondering if the others in the group already knew. I decided to call them from my phone to ask, since we figured they would be more likely to answer me than her. Only one of them answered. At first, she said she had no idea that Monica was seeing Theo, but after a couple minutes of pressing, she caved and said Monica told them around 6 months ago, but begged them not to say anything to Casey and I. Casey was even more devastated and told her that she never wants to hear from her again and that she'll be blocked on everything by the end of the day, and then promptly hung up the phone. She blocked both the friends on every social media she could think of and told me I didn't have to do the same if I didn't want to. But I heard enough from them and could not think of a reason to keep in contact with them. I asked her what she wanted to do about Monica, but she said she didn't deserve a goodbye message and simply blocked her on everything as well, and I did the same. Casey and I are currently making plans to take a mini road trip vacation together this summer, just the two of us. She's definitely still hurt by everything, but I've done everything I can to support her and will continue to do so. Thank you for all the lovely people who commented such kind and helpful words on my OG post, and hopefully I will never have to update this again and we can all move forward.
Those bitches.
Fucking nuts.
Those bitches. That poor Casey. I feel so bad. A whole year? Again, goes back to what I said. She was hiding it because she knew she was wrong, but oh, like he seemed so remorseful. I just couldn't help it. Girl, you literally said you were scared to say no when he asked for your number. That's strike one.
Yeah.
And you're
If
not
And
you
like
big,
just
so you
coordinating
don't have
your
to do more.
it's fucking is that no. It's nuts.
and like coordinating your workout schedules too. I'm like, that's strike two because now he's like purposely planning around you so he can just be around you all the time. And then telling your friends, other friends in your group, and being like, please don't tell her. Ooh, why? Why was it so important for you not to? Because you didn't want to get in trouble? Too late, bitch. You decided this is your bed, now you gotta lie in it.
Some fucking people.
So this is good. They're gonna plan their own trip. OP is such a good friend. Casey does not deserve any of those girls other than OP. And I hope that with this they can make better memories together and hopefully have a hot girl summer. This is the time. This is definitely time to have hot girl summer. And say fuck you, Theo.
Woohoo, global warming.
Alright. Shall we end on a petty revenge story or a today I fucked up story?
You choose. Which one's your favorite?
Let's do two petty revenge stories. I like petty revenge.
Oh, let Mack
Okay.
choose.
Ooh, petty revenge or today I fucked up?
We can do petty revenge.
Let's see. Impress me with the titles. These titles aren't impressing me. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I'll do two. I'll do two petty revenge stories to give us a little palate cleanser because that last one was a little much. It was a lot.
It was.
But everyone that's still here, let's take a deep breath. Everything is fine, safe. You're here listening to this amazing podcast. I hope my voice isn't annoying. I'm always scared that my voice is annoying to other people. Okay, so this one's short and sweet. The title on this petty revenge story is She Stole My Snack. I Swapped It for Spicy.
Nice. Let's see
Tale
Crossbite
as
School
old as
Survival Guide.
time.
One bite.
Dude, I feel
Classic.
like we hear these stories a lot where it's like, oh, my coworker keeps eating all my food.
Yo, someone drank Eddie's Fanta at work today. Unlucky.
No, not the Fanta.
Fuckers.
Alright, we've got a snack thief at work. They're just shared, so stuff goes missing sometimes, but mine kept vanishing. Always the chips, never the sandwich, and never the fruit. Just the snack. At first I thought maybe someone grabbed it by mistake, but it kept happening. Same brand, same time of day, and I'm 99% sure it was one specific coworker who always stayed late and forgot her lunch. So one day I grabbed a bag of ghost pepper chips,
Oh, my
a
favorite.
the I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's spelled Paqui. I think that's the brand of chip.
Yeah, it's Pocky.
Pocky, thank you. So I grabbed a bag of Pocky chips, the ghost pepper flavor, and emptied them into my usual chip bag, filled it back up, nice and neat, and stuck it into my lunch box like nothing changed. Around 1 p.m., I hear this loud coughing fit in the break room, like full on choking, water being poured, someone trying not to die. She comes back red faced, watery eyes, and totally in silent. Didn't even look at me, sat at her desk the rest of the day, not saying a word. I nearly choked on my food trying not to laugh. Haven't lost a snack since.
Love that.
Low-key love those chips. The Pocky chips are the ones that did the one chip challenge. When I was at Lovers, that ghost flavor Pocky chips is something that you got me a couple times, so I know exactly what that talking about. Definitely giving Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide right there. Someone grew up on that.
I can see that. But like I said, I feel like that's a common thing that I hear a lot on Reddit where it's like, oh, my coworker keeps stealing my lunch, so I swapped it out or like put, I don't know, like red pepper or something on top. And then they're like, why'd you make your lunch so hot? We heard a story one time, Mac, on, like I said, the Two Hot Takes podcast where someone was trying to sue their coworker because their food was spicy and it like nearly like burned their tongue or something, even though like the Tupperware was clearly labeled for that OP.
Fucking insane.
It was insane. I'm like, you're suing someone because you stole their lunch?
Yep.
Crazy. But I love it. I probably would have done the same thing. Or I think I would have just gotten like I would have like Googled like nastiest chip flavors just to like really like I like see if there's like bamboozled like bean flavor of chips that just taste like ass, so that she can just be like, "Ugh."
Just piss on your chips and put them back in the bag. Easy enough.
No,
As we say around here, home is where the piss is.
we do say that, but I don't think that's the right way to combat this.
So no piss?
No. No piss.
Oh,
All right. Last one. How often do you guys order
Biohazard.
like delivery takeout?
never.
Never.
Yeah, barely ever, honestly. The only times I have, it was like for friends or something like that, but rarely for me. I usually just get in my car and get it myself. And I feel like with Jared and I, we live in a pretty good area where it's like all the stuff we want is just close by where we can just get in our car and get it ourselves. So
Yeah, I can't even get delivery where I'm at anyway.
yeah, well, there you go. There's this one. It says that time a neighborhood kid got even on the asshole delivery guy.
Nice.
This one
Poor
happened a
guy's
few years.
asshole.
This happened a few years ago. Our mail carrier changed, and the new guy, call him Dave, was an absolute asshole. Trod on flower beds, rude to people, etc. But the real kicker was Dave would. Oh God. Oh God.
I'm ready.
But the real kicker was when Dave would pee in a bottle, and if he was
Yay!
in a
Piss!
bad mood,
Oh,
and
fucking
if he was
hell.
in a bad mood, if he was in a bad mood, that bottle would be thrown in someone's garden. No, not the flowers. If you tell him to throw the bottle in the trash, he'd throw it at you. Pause
Call
for a
the
sec.
cops.
Pause for a minute. That is the salt.
Can I take a guess at where the story is gonna go?
Go for it.
I bet that some kid ordered that elephant shit that you can order and then just made this delivery guy carry that around the entire time because
That's a
he made a fake address so he couldn't figure out where it was. Boom. Yes, that's the thing.
that's a thing.
No, I think
Mhm.
he's just gonna piss in the van.
Okay. I mean, mark your territory, you know?
I mean,
I throw him a
if
glitter
he's
bomb.
throwing piss bottles around, that's the best way to get back at him. Then he just has to smell piss.
Free dog piss.
Fuck him.
Second
Get
Amendment.
cat piss. Cat piss smells awful. Get cat piss.
Yeah. Ugh.
Okay. He would throw it at you. Dave was the son of the postmaster, Bob, an older guy of the boys will be boys mindset, and best friends with the local sheriff, Steve. If you talk to Bob about his son, it'd be excuses. He's a foster kid. He's had a hard life, and on and on. If you went to Steve, then it'd be boys will be boys. Dave was in his 30s, or postmaster Bob is dealing with it personally. One day in the middle of summer, the neighborhood kids got to see Mailman Dave being his usual sunny self. Seems Dave was mean to them too. The kids were out playing with their water pistols, and one of them had this real high power thing which sent the water a good 10 feet or more. And the kid who owned it, Oren, was a great shot. It's a lovely day, 30 degrees sun, and I'm out back putting out dinner. Suddenly, there's this blood curdling scream from Dave, and the whole neighborhood comes running to see what happened. Turns out, Oren had loaded his water pistol with one of Dave's pee bottles and topped it with a can of Red Bull.
Wait, but why
So
the
now
Red Bull?
Dave So now Dave was covered in this disgusting, sticky pea and sugar mess, that's why, which was starting to stink to high heavens. One of my neighbors offered to let Dave use her shower, and he ran off to another house, grabbed the hose, and turned it on himself. So now Dave is sticky, pea-soaked, and wet. He ditched everything in the street and ran off. Steve and Bob went walking the street that afternoon. We'd all not seen anything, of course. Bob had the bright idea of asking Orrin, who told him exactly what he all thought of Dave and how he was acting, and in the way only a bright-eyed 12-year-old can. Bob and Steve cornered Orrin's dad. Is that your son? Do you know what he did? Without missing a beat, Orrin's dad fired back. Well, Sheriff Steve, don't you always say boys will be boys? I never saw Dave again, but Orrin's birthday party was a huge hit that year. God bless that kid.
Woo!
Love it.
All hail
The
for
best part.
Orrin. All hail for Orrin. So he took one of Dave's bottles and decided to put a thing of Red Bull in there just to make it extra, which I don't like being sticky, but for Dave, he fucking deserved it.
100%. I wasn't too far off.
Not too far.
Just be like,
You're closer than I was.
you throw it at me, I shoot it back.
Exactly.
This top comment on this post, it says, neighborhood kids with squirt bottles are a sign of summer. I lived in a neighborhood with a pack of kids that all got super soakers and would ambush people. I got nailed a couple times and made an agreement with them. I asked them not to soak me if I was walking towards the bus stop because I was on my way to work, and it was a huge hassle to get soaked. But if I was walking towards my house, it was fair game. So I'd be walking home and I'd see little heads lurking behind cars, hiding behind fences, usually accompanied by a massive amount of giggling. I pretend not to see them and stroll along, and they pop out and soak me. It actually felt pretty good because my office was sweltering, and summers in Chicago can be insanely hot. Good on this kid for using his super squirter to his advantage.
Absolutely.
I know, this is a very smart 12-year-old. I wonder if his parents just had, like, Red Bulls lying around.
Probably.
Someone
My kid
said,
earned his
oops.
wings early.
Someone said, I hope someone bought Orrin a new water gun for his birthday after that. And Opie said, oh, we did. He has a whole set now.
Fucking amazing.
Someone said, you should have said, boys will be boys. And Opie says, oh my God, I forgot that. I'm not Orrin's dad, but he's my neighbor. That's exactly what his dad said to Bob and Dave. And to Steve, because Steve was the sheriff that kept saying, like, oh, boys will just be boys.
Yep.
Which I feel like we've hit a lot of, like, buzzwords or buzz phrases I don't like, oh, man up, boys will be boys. Oh, but he's changed now. We've hit a lot of, like, I hate that. Nope. I don't like that.
Oh, dang it.
Ah, dang it.
Yeah, I've never understood the boys will be boys phrasing.
There's like a thing going on TikTok right now where it's like parents who haven't used any of these like toxic parenting phrases of like, oh, like you throw like a girl, or like boys don't cry, or I brought you into this world and I can take you out of it. They ask their kids like, oh, just finish the sentence to see what they say. And like hearing these kids not say the things that those phrases like mean or what they actually like finish off as, I'm like, oh, yay. I'm like, we're finally like pulling back on those like toxic parenting phrases. There was one where it was a guy and his son, and he did the I love you, and his son goes, but I love you more. And I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Did I drop?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say hello.
Yeah, no, that
Bag.
fucking... The kid is smarter than he should be at 12.
That's some good parents.
Yeah. Well, was that the last one?
That's the last one, unless you guys want more.
What time is it?
It's like
11:18
almost
for you?
11:20 here. Yeah.
I'm okay calling it here.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so.
It was good. Just chill, chill stories. I ended on a funny one. I ended on a piss one. Not sure how the fuck
Always
that
gotta end on
happened.
this.
Talked about Legos, therapy, shitty friends, and
Yep.
petty revenge on the delivery man.
Yep. Yep.
All the goodies. All the goodies.
It's great.
All the goodies.
Thank you for dining with us tonight as we discussed what was on our minds. Fucking piss.
We're just going into it.
I was your host, Mac. You guys said you were ready to end it.
Yeah, but you just kind of, it was just very sudden.
Everyone stopped talking.
He's,
So I just went into it.
he literally said,
Alright,
he literally said,
let's just
okay.
go for it then. What are we waiting for?
I was your host, Mac. They were your co-hosts, Jared
Yo.
and Haley.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here, for letting me read you these very interesting Reddit stories.
Yeah, anytime.
Thanks for coming on, honey.
It always makes you feel like after reading these stories, but it always makes you feel just a little bit of like, oh, glad that isn't my life.
Yeah.
No, that piss one is
But
alright.
maybe, I was gonna say, except for the last one, I probably would have loved to witness that kid doing that to the
That
delivery
would have been
man.
funny. That would have been funny.
It would have been hilarious. I would have had my phone ready and be like, yeah.
All right. Have a nice night.